everybody. Welcome to Volume 2 of In This Together. I'm Kelly, the kids pastor here, and we have Kristi and Mike Colley. And we're going to spend some time just answering some frequently asked questions. So, hey, welcome.
Thanks, friends.
Thanks for being here, you guys. So, wanted to check in with you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about this next season? Like, where are we meeting and when are we going to be meeting?
Yeah, we realized last time from our first conversation, it probably would have been helpful to share the when a little bit more particular. So we'll be meeting on Saturday nights at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
At Flatirons,
right.
At Mexico and Buckley are the cross streets of where we're going to be meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the beautiful thing about that is we've been a part of church plants that have gone and rented other spaces and carried things in and out. And what we felt like in this season for Smoky Hill that would be a lot to try to build teams to do those sorts of things. So the idea of moving into a space like a school and doing Sunday mornings or a community center to stay on Sunday mornings felt like way more work than us moving to somewhere that already has church and already hosts a church, and so doing something on Saturday night feels like it checks that box for us. It allows us to move into a space that's already made to welcome people and to be a place where we are learning about God together. So. So if we can we talk just a little bit about why we chose Flatirons specifically? And we love their heart, and Kristi and I have had a chance to, along with some of the other staff, get a chance to know Cole, who is the campus pastor of Flatirons Aurora, and he has such a heart to see churches work together to see God's kingdom advance. And so
I think what we found is that when we walked in this space, it felt very much like what we would have set a space up to be like, right? It's one that's open throughout the week when all of the regulations are lifted, for the community, to serve the community, welcome people in, create co-working spaces, things that really serve the community well, which of course we think is reflective of the heart of Jesus. And so when we look at the way they've set up their space, the use of it is so inviting and encouraging for us to imagine our church also grabbing hold of that and partnering with them to serve the community even more.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you also for taking this search with that kind of mindset. I think that led us to the right spot for this season.
Yeah. And the cool thing too, we look at this and we go, maybe this will be long term, maybe this will be very short term. The reality of this kind of post-COVID market is this is not a great time to buy real estate.
Yeah, that's right.
From a commercial standpoint, there's not a lot out there, and we're not sure that there's not going to be the perfect spot that comes open at some time in the future. So this really gives us the flexibility to do things really well and with excellence, and to have a great place to gather together and to serve the community, and still gives us the option to look and say, what is the best place for SHV to really put our roots down long term in a new facility?
Yeah, and it helps out another church that's in the season 2 of they're kind of getting their footing together too. They've Flatirons of Aurora has only been around for a few years at this point, and so it gives them a chance to even build a bigger base and allow them to maybe, as we help them out with some place for, helping them out with some funds for we're renting space from them rather than using a school on a Sunday morning. But I think the bigger thing is that it's hard to find somebody that you can kind of partner with. And I can't say this enough. I so appreciate their heart and their willingness to go, hey, it's not our people or your people, it's God's people. And we're just going to do this together and see God's kingdom grow. And so I think for us, that's really exciting to be a part of something that feels so much bigger than just any one church.
Yeah. And so we'll be meeting June 5th, will be our first Saturday night service in the new space. And we've got some video to show you of the actual location. So it's far more hip than we are by any means.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, of course. And but we love the way that they've really called in local artists. They have this huge graffiti mural that they've called in local artists to be a part of this. The whole place is made to throw the doors open and throw the space open to the community. So you can see this is kind of what we can expect when we're there on Saturday nights.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about what we're excited about as far as what we could, like, what the possibilities are for after church on Saturday night, what that would look like, and what things we can do together as a community and as a body of believers.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is that Chick-fil-A is not closed on Saturday nights. How many times have you walked out of church on a Sunday and went, I want Chick-fil-A, and it is Sunday.
It's Sunday. So we don't have that anymore. But we love the idea that doing a Saturday night service will allow us to do like church family events, either before service or maybe even after service. People can head out to dinner together, go out to eat, support the local businesses, really bless our community in a very tangible way, and get to grow our family togetherness at SHV.
Yeah, and I think it does. It creates opportunities for us to do things together, where we can do some events beforehand and even gather together beforehand and then do church together. And I agree. It kind of opens up lots of opportunities and possibilities for us.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a picnic during the summer with your bestest family friends?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Or who wants to go barbecue right after church and have a great evening together, right?
That's right.
Little fire pit time.
You know, something that's pretty fascinating too is in talking through this idea with Greg after we shared what we were planning on doing, he was pretty excited too, because Smoky Hill Vineyard started out in Mariachek Middle School, which is right around the corner from where we're going to be meeting. And so it kind of feels like a full circle moment for the church.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks know that your history in ministry began at SHV. Would you guys mind sharing what endears you to SHV right now?
You want to start?
Well, I think it feels like a full circle moment. I shared this a few weeks ago at the transition time. That it feels like there's a full circle thing happening here for us. And this is where we were called into ministry. This is where the Lord brought us together as a couple. But I think it's also that, and we have seen Smoky Hill Vineyard take massive chances on people. And for kingdom purpose. And I would say that we're two of those people that the church has taken massive chances on. And we're excited to be a part of a church that has that kind of history and that kind of pedigree where they just go, we're willing to take chances on people and see what God might do.
Yeah. And I think looking in this next season, the coolest thing is we've kind of come back to SHV and getting a chance to fall in love with the people who are here today. That's been incredibly powerful. But the roots of what is here, the legacy of what SHV has been in this community is really important. And so I think as we look at what are we most excited about, it's taking those things that SHV historically has done really well. And the Vineyard in this area has offered a place where people can encounter the power of God right in that radical middle, right? It's not just a seeker church. It's not just a super charismatic church. Like the Vineyard really meets a very specific need and niche in this community. And so as we've really walked with Greg and June through the transition and through this season going, the Lord is not done with the Vineyard in this particular neighborhood, in this area. He has such big plans. And so we look at continuing to do those things that have always been super important to us with SHV. The power of God without the weirdness of human intervention, right? We're not in the way. We just get to be people who come and invite the power of God to move.
That's so exciting. I'm excited to be a part of it with you guys.
Thank you for being a part of it with us. Yeah.
Thanks for letting me.
Yeah.
So wanted to go a little deeper with you guys, and would you mind sharing a little bit about your family? So like for those of us, or for those who don't know you guys all that well, just tell us a little about your family. Tell us about your story.
Yeah. So while I was on staff at Smoky Hill Vineyard about 20 years ago, I went through probably one of the hardest personal seasons of my life where I went through a divorce. And came out of that season being still a pastor. Greg walked through that season with me and felt like the Lord's calling was still there. And now was a single dad and had 3 kids, almost full time at that point. Kristi was my intern in that season.
It sounds way more scandalous than it actually was, but we like to throw that out there.
We like to throw that out. Someday we'll share the longer story of how that came out, and it's actually quite funny. It will show you how much of a moron I was, that I totally missed what God might be doing. But so as God brought Kristi and I together, and a few years later, we. In that season, she came alongside not only in what we felt like God was still calling me to, but also in helping to raise kids. So
yeah, I often say I became a mom to multiples in the most unusual way. That's kind of the way and so we actually have 5 kids total. We have we call them our bigs and our littles.
Right.
So they range from 24 to 10, plus a couple grandkids in there too.
Yeah.
So
not from our 10-year-old, by the way.
No,
but from our,
Jesus. So we have a really full family. And right now we actually have 4 of our 5 kids living at home. And even last year, our 5th and her family lived with us for a while. So it's been loud and a really fun year. It's been incredible.
Yeah, fun.
Gosh, that had to have been a really crazy, beautiful and difficult season for you guys. Would you guys be comfortable sharing a little bit about the challenges that you walked through together in that season of blending the 2 families together?
Yeah.
You first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I personally went through an incredibly challenging season where they talked about like the major 5 changes in your life, losing a loved one, having kids, getting married, buying a house, changing jobs. I think I went through all 5 of those in a 6-month period. So it was a lot of chaos when we first got married. And the journey of what the Lord has done, we could never have guessed how hard it was going to be and how incredibly fruitful, and at different times with each kid and with each season of our life. And so I think there's a compassion in us that we've learned to walk through the really impossible situations with families that we wouldn't trade. I remember hearing someone recently say, you couldn't pay me $1 million to go through it, and I wouldn't give it. Oh, what did he say? Shoot, I forget now.
You couldn't pay me $1 million to go through it again, but I also wouldn't give up $1 million to not have gone through it.
To not have learned from it.
Yeah, I think for me, it's we think sometimes our faith has got to be this perfect story, and I think for me, walking through a whole, a divorce and pastor going through a divorce and then getting married again and having a blended family, all those things, it's the beautiful mess of what God can do and His redemptive story He can write that is not clean, and it doesn't feel like it fits in a movie or in a book, but as you
maybe not one you choose to read.
But I think so much of the Bible is broken people that God redeems and brings redemption to their lives, and I just feel like it's what He's done with the part of our story, writing redemption on it.
Yeah. All right, friends. Well, thanks for watching this 2nd volume of To End This Together, and can be on the lookout for volume 3 coming up, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Soon-ish.
Another staff conversation.
Exactly.
It'd be fun.
We love it. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.